Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining into today's session of Design Nuances Edu series. The objective of this session is to learn the nuances of a new topic specific to design, architecture, or fashion, to get introduced to a new school and understand their perspective and why they exist. And the third objective is to interact with an expert and absorb the knowledge that they share. Um, we'll spend about 15 minutes discussing about the school, and then we'll move on to the topic for about 40 minutes and another 15 to 20 minutes for Q&A. Um, do keep your microphones on mute. If you do have comments, questions, you could ask in the chat, and please switch your webcams on. If you want to unmute and ask your questions, you're most welcome to do so. Try and raise your hand in the options given on Zoom and ask your questions when you are given the opportunity. So today we have a session on transportation design. What is transportation design and why it should be considered as a career? We have Thomas Dahl, the Dean of Strat School of Design, who's taking this session for us today. Strat School of Design is a French design school which has opened a campus in India. It is one of the top design schools in France, very well known for product and transportation design. Thomas, a little bit about Thomas. So Thomas has graduated from ISD France in 1999 and then joined Treves, which is a French automotive manufacturer, as the head of innovation and design in Europe. So in 2008, he came down to India. He started the DSK Rubika campus in Pune. And after 3 years of running the school, he moved back to France to head innovation and design for Decathlon in France. So along his career, he's had tremendous experience, both in terms of academically teaching experience, academic experience, as well as professional or corporate experience. He's also run his own design consultancy and gained experience in space, graphic, experience design, and experience design working for multinational companies. So he believes that a holistic approach and curiosity of both technology and social fields ensure the success of solving most design challenges for tomorrow. So if anyone is interested in finding out more information about Strat School of Design, please click on the link that I'm going to share in this chat box. But this will take you to the DQ Edge listing of Strat, and you can find out a little more information about that. And you can also click on the apply. If you're a 2022 student, you can click on the apply. There's an application link which you can click on and you can reach out to the school directly. If you are a 2023 or 2024 student, you can always click the inquire here button and their team will connect with you. Over to Thomas Dahl and Strat for taking this forward. Thomas, thank you for joining in today.
Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to share about design. You know that I have always been, and I will always be very, very interested in sharing and spreading the awareness of design, because as you mentioned, I believe that design can do a great thing to make our world better. So the more people will be interested in design, the more we've got chance to have our kids living in a good world. So I'm very happy to be part here of this discussion and to explain what transportation design is and how you can make a career out of it. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to first start by speaking to you about the school, because as you mentioned, Diane, we are a very young school. We are actually we are not. We are very old school, but very new in India. So we've got only 4 years of existence in Bangalore, but Strat is existing since 30 years. So if you're okay, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to take you through a quick presentation. It's going to take 10 to 15 minutes maximum.
Absolutely, you can.
So we'll go directly into the topic.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible. Go on.
Okay, perfect. So Strat. So I mentioned Strat is a school that is started 30 years ago in Paris, in France. Actually, not exactly in Paris. We are just on the suburb of Paris, but this is just a detail. And we've got now 3 campuses all over the world. We've got Lyon, which is the second biggest city of France. We've got Paris, and we've got Bangalore. We used to have Singapore that we closed for some reason in the country, and we are going to open it next year normally. We're also planning on opening Mexico, and we've got Dakar in Africa. You know, the Paris-Dakar. We've got a small school here that is starting in Dakar. So we are starting to go very international with Strats. We are known as one of the best, one of the 5 best school of design in transportation in the world. We are lucky to get, you know, our alumni. You will see that at the end of the presentation, in almost all the brand of the world. It means you go to whatever the brand, you know, Toyota, Hyundai, BMW, Rolls-Royce, Jaguar, whatever. There will be an alumni of Strat there. And we can prove it, and this is something that we are very proud of. So it means that we are global, completely global. So Diane introduced me, so I'm not going to go there. It's been 25 years that I'm doing design in different fields, but I'm going to speak mostly about Strat. So Strat believes that design is not just a job, you know, like, you know, an accounting, you know, when you're an accountant, you go to your office, you start to do accounting, and when you stop your job, you come back to your house and you do your human life, okay? But actually design, we believe in Strat, design is done like that. Design is a way of living. When I stopped working for my company as a designer, you know, you're still our designer. Your brain is still looking at object. You know, I'm going to be looking at this mouse to see how it has been done, what are the shape, what is the reason, how is the manufacturer process. When I'm going to discover some cars, I'm going to look at them in a design way. So design is more art of life. Okay, it's more than a job. So this is what we are trying to train our students to in Strats, and this is what you see on the right, on the left here. Sorry, it's our definition of how we do design and what we believe about design. So more than profession, more than a discipline. I'm going to read it loud. Design is a transformation force field. It means that everywhere design goes, there should have a transformation of what's happening there, embodied by demanding professionals, readers, and thinkers of complexity. Because we believe that you can't be a good designer if you're not aware of everything in the world and not just, you know, being able to sketch. Being able to sketch makes you an artist, but being able to think and understand the world makes you a designer. So you need to be a reader, a thinker of complexity, because the world is more and more complex. You know, there is now, you know, everything that you buy will be linked to IoT. There will be an app. There will be everything. So everything starts to be complex, and there is business model that is more complex. You rent, you buy, and all this is complex. On producing sustainable experience, providing beauty in human lives. So producing sustainable experience means that you've got the skills to make things happen. Sustainable is a very big challenge in the world today. We can't avoid this matter anywhere. And providing beauty in human lives. When I'm speaking here about beauty, I'm not speaking here about beauty like visual beauty, but beauty in the poetic way. Means, you know, the internal beauties, equalities, fraternity, all this, you know, like strong beauty feelings and emotions that we as humans have. Okay, so it's not only the visual beauty. So this is our definition of design, and this is what we are doing. And I'm sorry, this slide on the right is a little bit strong. I don't know what happened to them. So it's written normally, design like you care. Okay, design like you care, because this is what we do. And as I mentioned, we are international, and we believe that for designers now, it's a very, very important topic. On a recruitment statistics and studies shows this, that students that goes international are more and more favorized by recruiters and others. That's why we believe that having an embassy of French design in India is going to help a lot the Indian market. Okay, that's why we've got these campuses. So this is Singapore. This is the campus of Bangalore. It's a 60,000 square feet building with our own hostel that you can see at the back. Okay, and all what you see around is a 19-acre plot that is also going to be developed in order to be an international university that is developed by our partner, that is actually not partner, but the owner of the brand Strat, that is Galileo Group, the second biggest education group in the world. And we're going to put them, engineering, cooking, politics, science, fashion school, and everything will be done around this campus. So it will be a really, really big hub for international studies in the coming 4 or 5 years. It will be developed. Okay. So this is the first batch that we have. So we started in 2017 with 25 students. You can see me here. This is Dominique Siama, who was the head of the school at this time. These are our pioneering students. This is Strat Lyon. Okay. So what we offer in Strat, we offer a BSc and an MSc in design from India. Plus, if you want to get it, there is a procedure to get it. You can go and spend a little bit of time in France to get another master from Paris. So it means in 3-4 months from Paris, you get another master. So instead of doing again 2 years, you just do 3-4 months and you get a master, which will be a RNCP level 7, which is the European coding for a master in design. Okay, it's a skill-based graduation, official graduation that you can get from Strat Paris itself. So it means that after 5 years in Strat Bangalore, you do 3-4 months in France, and you've got 2 masters, one from India, one from France. And we are training, the students to be experienced designer, service designer, space designer, system designer, interface designer, object designer, car designer, everything. So there we will see that a little bit after. So we've got 4 design departments. Mobility is actually 5. I should have changed this. It's changing. So mobility design, which is car designing, okay, but not only cars. We are going to speak about that today, so I'm not going to go on this. Product design is everything that is around you. All the products around you, the fans, computers, sound systems, the chairs, everything is falling under product design here. And we are trying to think about how you can include the complexity into the design of these usual daily products. We've got identity design, which is much more than visual communication and graphic design. Identity is really to tackle and to deal with everything that is creating a brand with its customer. It means when you're a brand, you've got a logo, of course, and this is cool to make a logo, but it's only, 2% of your brand communication and your brand identity. So by brand identity in Strat, we tackle, how you're going to make the brand, what we call a brand book. And inside the brand book, there will be all the guidelines for the brand, for social media, photography, retail spaces, the behavior of your employees, the behavior of your sales team, the behavior of everything. So it's really tackling all the touch points of a company towards their customers. Okay, so where the chatbot is going to. So as a brand identity designer, you're really going to look into the full identity of a brand and not just the visual one. So it's a very, very important and getting even more important with increasing competition of the brands today. So it's very, very important topic and a very looked after position. After we've got interaction design, UI, UX, and more. In Strat, we are really looking at not teaching, only students only how to make apps and websites, because I think this is gone already. This is too late. Now the world is changing to the meta. I'm sure you've heard about this big change that is coming. So in Strat, it's been a few years that we are teaching our students how to use VR, AR, how to conceive in 3D, how to help them to understand how you're going to interact in the virtual world. What are going to be? Is it going to be gesture recognition, voice recognition, eye tracking recognition? So how are the object and behavior of your machines going to be included to that? How are you going to interact with machines in the metaverse, how you're going to make all this kind of stuff. So this is really about that, how you're going to make a website. What is a website? What is a shop in the metaverse? What is this? So this is what we are trying to do in Strat, in the interaction, is to really push the students to be not only the guys that are going to make the colors on a website, but to be forward to that and to really think about what's coming and to be very desirable for the coming industry, the coming interaction industry that is just ahead of us in 1 year. Okay. And we've got also space design. Space design is not about interior design. No, interior design will be dealing about the color of the curtains and the color of your fabric for the sofa and where to put the sofa in your room. Here in space design, we are going to really design spaces. It means we are going to use technology, like interaction technology or the display technology, in order to make spaces that are going to be efficient. So basically, we are not mostly in Strat going to deal with houses. We are going mostly to deal with bigger space, like offices, corporate offices, like government space, hospital, all this big space, where there is a task to be done and something to be get from that. So of course, by doing this bigger project, you will have as students all the skills to deal with the rest, like small houses on the side if you want to, and you will be very efficient in doing them. But this is not going to be our main topic. Okay. We do a lot of internship because we believe that when you're studying design, practice of your work is very important. So you practice with companies that are partnering with us to get our students to make internship. There is a total of 17 months of internship possible out of the 5 year. I'll let you read through this. One of them is a 6 months compulsory international internship that need to be done abroad. Of course, the school is helping students to find their internship. We are not providing them, but we are helping the school to do that. So one very big important thing in Strat is that we don't have faculty. We don't have teachers. So I know it might be sounding weird that how a school cannot have teachers. Actually, we don't have teachers because we've got experts coming to the school. We've got designers coming to the school, and it's making a big change in the way we teach, but also it's a relationship between students, because we don't have this teacher students hierarchy relationship that is there. Everything is flat, and we've got, like in a team of soccer or a team of cricket, you've got a captain on the team, and even if the captain is the captain, he's still playing with the team and sweating with it. And this is what we do in Strat. Our experts come from the industry to the school to work with students. And this is making a lot of difference, to make our students more update. And that they are more acting like mentors and teachers. And it's really making a big difference in the teaching and the relationship. We are having a lot of industry because we believe that you can't teach design without looking at the industry. So the industry is coming to the school to help us working on projects and deliver to the students, the up-to-date way of doing design and up-to-date exigencies, of excellence, the expectations of the industry, for to be sure that what we teach to our students is exactly what the industry will look at when the student will be looking for a job. So everything is aimed at the end, being very professional. In order to do that, we've got strategic partnership with very big companies. Okay, Carrefour is the second biggest retail company in the world, just after Walmart. Derishbourg is a material producer for whatever. We've got the same in India here. So they're helping us to update our syllabus. They're helping us to create a big network and to place our students. And we are crossing the strategies of the future and everything and proposing projects with them. It's very interesting. But at the end, all this, what I explained before, the only goal of this is to make sure that our student will be very efficient professional. And to be efficient professional, the only way to get a job when you're a designer is not with your graduation, it's not with your paper, it's not with the name of your school, it's with your portfolio. Okay, the only way to get a good job when you're a designer, it's not the name of the school you've been doing, it's not who you know, it's how good is your portfolio. And that's why in Strat, all the 5 years of our teaching is aimed at this cherry on the cake. That is essential, actually, is how to make a good portfolio. And a good portfolio is not only about the content, it's the brands that are inside, it's how you interact, the content, the widespread on very narrow spread of your portfolio projects, to match with what you want to do. And this is something that we are very proud to do in Strat, is that we are really nurturing students according to their goals. It means we are not teaching all the students the same way. we are teaching students able to go to work in a corporate environment in Apple, but also to work in an NGO doing pottery and doing art with, Rajasthan potters. Okay, and those two, even if they are still designers together, they need different skills, human skills, corporate skills, design skills. They need some different things. And we are able in Strat to make a big split between these two profiles and to teach them everything they need to achieve their own aims. And this is what is the beauty of Strat, is that we are not, in a class, you will be 25 students. And these 25 students will be 25 different designers with 25 different portfolios. And this is something that we're very proud of. We are also partnering with different schools for exchange of our students going to different schools and going abroad for the semester. I spoke to you, one semester compulsory abroad. You can go for an exchange as well. We are also having students coming to the school from these schools. We are also sharing some teachers sometime on all this kind of stuff. Okay, so a lot of schools there. We've got a board of advisors of very, very experimented and super sharp people that are helping us to increase and to work on the vision of the school and how to develop our courses every year. Every year we are evolving our teaching on the courses to be sure that we are matching with the desire of the industry, because the goal at the end is not to teach. The goal at the end is to get a job for our students. We are part of the World Design Organization. We are part of Cumulus. Cumulus is a link of all the schools all over the world to get the better practice of one school share with all the others. So like that, we are sure that we are always doing the best way of teaching in Strat, and that we are always up to date with the best practices all over the world. Okay. So how do you, if you're interested, how do you get in? So there is an admission in first year after a diploma. Okay, after a 3-year diploma, you can get inside, or after 12 standards. Okay, we've got a 50% pass for admission, which might seem very low. Oh, why are you only 50? It doesn't look like a good school if you're taking everybody. But actually, this is a different opposite. And you might, if you're in a design field already, you might know that design brain are different from engineering brain. And if I take my own example, just as an example, I was very bad in school because my brain was not wired in a way that I was going to be good in studying. Okay. So I was very bad. My parents were very worried, and I was very stressed for them. Then I shifted to design, and then I bloomed. I retopped all my school during 5 years. It was very good. So what I'm meaning by that is that you cannot be very good in study, but you can be a very, very good designer. Marks and level of marks should not be a threshold for selecting design students. For selecting an engineering student, I understand that are having to go to because this is how they. But in design, the level can be low because it's community. We are not going to work. We are going to practice. We are going to train students. We are not going to teach them. So it's different. So that's why even if we are open to students that are not very successful in study, but that might be going very good in design studies, and we are taking them from any streams because we want classes to be in a way that from field there will be which is to understand what art is, but the engineering student will help the design student to know about process and mathematics. As a science guy, we can for other things. It's made of different, make very strong batch actually. So we also have a lot of scholarship. One of them is the IE scholarship, and go up to for your fee. And we've got different other scholarships we find in most of the and your different areas, like where you come from, just your success as a student and all this kind of stuff. Okay. We also have lateral entry. I'm not going to go into this. We also admit students in masters. How do you admit? So you've got the application online. It's on strat.in. It's our website. You've got the interview. So the interview is the most important thing that we will add into Strat. There's no test, there's no exams, there's nothing. You are going to face a designer. It's not dangerous, but you are going to discuss with a designer, one of our designer, one of our student, the teacher, during 1 hour, 1 hour 30, in order to discuss about not your skills, because we are going to teach you skills. So we don't care so much about your skills, but your understanding of the world and who you are and your personality is going to really be what we are looking at for getting admission. And after that, you get your admission, provisional admission. After that, you need to register, and then you will have the final admission. We are starting courses on this mid-July this year, mid-July, for the first half of July. And here are some pictures of the school and some work of the students. This is an identity work for a shop. This is an interactive space design about working on floating villages for Bangladesh after a flood. In order for people to get back to flooded land and to grow their village again. So you got some crops, vertical crops here. It's a very nice, interesting story. And here, this is probably. It's called Dark Hole. It's a nebula watch with a very interesting system of clouds and magnets to show the hours. These are some transportation design projects. See here bike for Audi. If Audi was making bike, what it would like. This is a Bugatti project. This is a spaceship because sometimes to have fun and to draw something existing. And this is Ekranoplans. Flying 2 meters above the water. It's a mix between a plane and a boat. So it's very interesting new technology that is not new actually. It's very well used. So Ekranoplan. Okay. We don't have very practical. It means no big ones in order to be corporate. We've got a very big laser cutters, and as we are aiming everything we do in the school towards your portfolio at the end, because we know that this is what is important. Okay, and as I mentioned before, here, this is all the and it's not exhaustive, all the kind of job you do, the base that allows you.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm just going to go. It's finished.
No. I'm sorry. There's a disturbance, so it looks like your network is breaking up. Can you switch to a different?
Let me check. Checking. I'm connecting to my 5G. I'm good. Oh yes, my connection is unstable.
Okay.
I'm checking. Oh, coming back.
Sure.
Should be better now.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So these are some alumni that I've got, nice alumni that we have. David Cavallo, VP, Pininfarina, Michael Arbon, which is the youngest leader of Ideo. I don't know if you know Ideo. Ideo is the inventor of the design thinking in US. So Michael is a super talented genius that is project at Ideo. Julien Montousset is a director of design in 2004. So it's been long now it's been there. But what is interesting is that he was there in 2013. So it's been only after 9 years of work in the industry, he became the director of Mazda North America. It means that the growth of this guy, Julien, in only 9 years to get to the highest position in the transportation industry is tremendous. Sébastien Gobert started his own company of watch, super successful. Felix Kibertus was with me in the school. He's now the director of Rolls-Royce. I'm sure you know Rolls-Royce, the director of design of Rolls-Royce. And this is the kind of guy that we are working with in the school. Judith Levy, she made her own, she transformed her graduation project into a company, and the company was bought by L'Oréal for 18 million euros. Okay, so she's now living happy. Jumael Chassa also transformed her own graduation project into a company. This is Luminy. This is a storytelling. You decide what are the hero of the story on this machine. You got a small screen here, and you decide if your story will be about a castle, the sea, the land. It will be about a sorcerer, or about a witch, or whatever. And then after you click on the button, on the machine is going to tell you a story of 15 minutes for the kids. So it's a very good way of getting kids out of the screens and telling them and creating again, and having their creative mind being there. So Luminy is a very successful project, and Maël is very good for that. So this is our contact, Strat, www.strat.in, if you want to get more info about the school. That's it. You can take a screenshot of that if you need, or go to the portal of Dion and DQ Labs as well. Okay, so this is about the school. I think it was pretty quick. If you want more information, we've got different things to show you and to discuss with you after. Okay, so now, if you're okay, I don't know if there is any question now, Dion, or if I should shift to the transportation design.
This is fine. You can go on.
Okay. Yeah. So we are going to now discuss about transportation design as a career. Okay, so you all know that transportation design is about making cars. Okay, I'm sure that most of you are cars geeks if you're interested in transportation design. But you need to understand that the car industry is different than just. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit back to this, and to try to explain to you what is exactly the transportation industry. Okay, so I'm not going to use slides for that. So please listen carefully, because I'm just going to speak to you and try to make some links. Okay. So after that, I've got a link, a slide for a different thing, but just for that, I don't have the slide. So just listen to me. Okay. So the car industry is made of OEMs, original, manufacturers. Okay. These are going to be the brands that Mercedes, Suzuki, Maruti, Mahindra, Rolls-Royce, whatever. These are original manufacturers, okay? And there is also the suppliers and the studios. So when I'm speaking about original manufacturers, there's not only the car manufacturers that we are aiming at transportation design students. There is also the bike companies, Ducati, BMW, TVS, all these brands are also needing transportation designers. There's also the plane companies, Boeing, Airbus, all this kind of stuff. They need also the small companies that are making, the small planes. They are also in need of transportation design. We've got also the trains company, Alstom, Bombardier. They are super big. They are making tramways. They are making trains. They are making metros. They need designers to design their object. There are also all the truck companies, Ashok Leyland, DAF, Scania, Mercedes, Mack. All these big brands also need a lot and employ a lot of transportation designers. After that, you've got the buses. Okay, the buses need a lot of designers as well. And in India, there's also a lot of small manufacturers that also employ their own designers. And there are the big ones, like Volvo and all this kind of stuff that are making this. After you've got all the ship and yachts and boats, they also employ a lot of designers. And then again, after that, you've got all the earth movers, like GBL, sorry, I don't get the name, but Caterpillar and all this kind of stuff, the earth mover, big machinery for construction. They also employ a lot of designers. So transportation design field is not only about cars and bikes, it's everything else. And nowadays, there is a lot of different kind of mobilities that are coming, drones, manned drones, flying cars that are also there and will need a lot of designers to work on, okay? You can see some brands like Archer, Airspeeder, all these brands need some designers and are hiring the big guys of the car industry to work on this, okay? So this is the big OEMs, okay, where most of the design pool will go and work. But you also have all the suppliers, because a company like Mercedes, let's say, they are not designing all the part of a car inside. Okay, they are asking suppliers to design for them. So they make some sketch of the seat of the car, of the door panel of the car, and then they give it to suppliers where they've got engineers and designers to make it for the company. Okay, and these suppliers are many, like huge, like huge. To make a one car, you've got a team of 300 or 400 people working inside the OEM, and you've got around 4,000 or 3,000 people working from the suppliers on the same cars. So the number of jobs for designers into the supplier industry of the automotive is much more than the OEMs themselves. Okay, so all these suppliers are also designing parts of the car for the OEMs and to build the car. Okay, so there is a lot of work there. And after that, you've got some studios. Okay, studios, and you've got different type of studios. You've got studios that are helping the companies, like OEMs, to do their design jobs. You've got studios that are helping the suppliers to do their job. But still, there are standalone studios that are taking contracts for other OEM or suppliers to work on the cars. Okay, and you've got also studios that are making their own cars, like a garage and the mechanics that are transforming cars, customization, selling some spoilers and things like that, where they're also employing designers for that. And there is the last one. It's now very, very common and more, and they're happening a lot in India, is startups. EV startups, mostly in India, are looking at designers a lot. We are working in Strat with a lot of them. We are working with Praveg, we are working with Rapti, we worked a little bit with Ultraviolet, for the whatever. So all these companies, they need designers because they are startups generally made by businessmen or engineers, and they don't know anything about design, and they need designer to make their products desirable. Okay, so the design of the field of work of designers in the transportation industry is very vast, and you should not focus only on the OEMs, because in the OEM industry, there is only 2,000 jobs opening a year. If you take everything else, you've got more than maybe, I don't know, nearly approximately 100,000 a year, if you take everything together, okay? 2,000 on OEMs, 100,000 for everything else, okay? So remember that. If you take the transportation design field, if you're not one of the super best, you will not maybe end up in the OEMs. Okay, the selection ratio is very narrow. Okay, after that, in the design field, there is different types of designers. You've got the exterior designers, you've got the interior designers, you've got the HMI designers, the 3D designers, the CMF designers, and the model makers. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit in detail for all this. First, the exterior designers.
Thomas, are you switching slides?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. It's going to come in a few minutes. Here, I'm trying so exterior designers. Exterior designers are the one. It's I would say the design position that is the most glamorous. It's the one that everybody wants to be in. They want to be the one designing the bodies of the new Lamborghini and the new Ferrari and things like that. Okay, these exterior designers are the ones that are creating the bodies of the cars, are creating the new design language of brands, and they are working on this. Okay, you've got interior designers. These are the ones that are, as the name explains, working on the inside of the car, the seats, the door panels, the dashboard, the gears, the wheel, the steering wheel, all the inside of the car. Okay, all the details. So it's a little bit closer to product design for automotive than really the exterior body design. Okay, but it's super interesting. And actually, it's more challenging, much more challenging than just designing the exterior of a car. Okay, after you got the HMI designers. HMI, it means human machine interface, which means how all the way you're going to interact with the car. And this domain of HMI designer, which is at the frontier between interaction design and transportation design, is really booming. You've got a lot of job about it right now. After that, you've got the 3D designers that are going to be the designers that are very used to 3D modeling, and are going to model the cars on 3D, generally working in collaboration with exterior designers or interior designers to do and to work on their project and to make them real in 3D. And after that, you've got CMF designers, color, material, and finishing. Okay, and these designers are going to work on the project of the exterior designers and on the project of the interior designers to match the spirit, to find the good materials, the good shininess, the good fabrics, the good patterns, the good colors, the good motifs that are going to fit inside the car to make it, to enhance the experience of the design itself. Okay. And after that, you've got designers that turn into model maker that are going to build the car with clay and things like that. Okay. So this exterior, interior, HMI, 3D designers, CMS designers, and model makers are all the range of what you can do after going through a transportation design course. This can be done in all the fields that I've told you before, okay, car, trucks, plane, like that, in the OEMs or in the other suppliers range. So it means a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of possibilities of jobs. Okay, so let's go into how, let's take the main one in OEM, how it works. Okay, the step of the process. Okay, in order to start a car, not designer actually. The first.
Thomas, your
brand like BMW, let's say, they do a product planning. When are we going to change?
Thomas, your
Hello?
network seems to be breaking again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Seems okay. Seems okay.
Sorry for that.
I'll let you know. I'll maybe chat with you in case there's some issue. Okay.
Ways, okay, we are going to do the new, let's say, series 3.
Thomas, again, it seems to be giving a little trouble.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait. Shift to another network. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I shifted to another one. Is it better now?
Seems better for now.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
So the design brief will be an explanation of what is expected from the designers. Okay. And after that, there will be the concept generation that is going to be for the designers. You got the team selection, the 3D computer model generation, the design evaluation, the styling freeze, and the prototyping. We are going to see that in the coming slides. Okay. So the product planning, you've got, people are going to do a market research in order to understand what is sold, what is not sold, what are the reasons, in order to understand what is the car that is going to be produced next. Then what is the capacity of our factory to build? What can we build? What can we not build? Can we build a 4-wheel drive? Can we not build a 4-wheel drive? Or can we build an EV, not an EV? What is our industry possibility to make a car? And after that, they will come to the design brief. It will be the guidelines that are going to be about the design that's going to be the vehicle that is going to be designed. So it's going to be identifying who the car is going to be built. The new Series 3 of BMW. Is it going to be for younger people, for 30s, 40s, 60s, all of them? So what is the trend? What is the people? Are they going to be rich, not rich, sporty, classy? Are they going to be driven, chauffeur-driven? So all this is going to tell you what kind of car you need to design, okay? After, what kind of car is it? Is it a limousine, a sport car, off-roader, a SUV? What kind of car it should be? How much it's expected to cost? How it fits into the brand family portfolio? Because if you've got already a Series 5 and then on a Series 1 that are like this, the Series 3 need to match, and not be too close to the Series 5, not too close to the Series 1, and how it fits inside it. So all this is really, really important to describe before giving it to the designer, okay? And the trend analysis, okay, what is the trend? The trend, is it going to be rounder? Is it going to be more edgy? Is it going to be more shiny? Whatever. What is the trend? In order to be sure that when you design a car, you're going to be in what people will expect from it. After that, there will be an internal competition. It means that this brief is going to be shared to all the designers of a brand that are available, the ones that are not working on a project already. So there will be 20, 30 designers, interior and exterior included, that are going to be given the brief, and they will have 1 month, 2 months to work on this and to get a proposition to the company. It's an internal competition because out of these 30 propositions of design, only one at the end will be developed. Okay, so how does it work? The first step is we give them, these 30 designers, the subject. The second step is they showcase it in, I don't know why the images are not showing, but whatever. They are showcasing it in a room, and the boss of design of the company and all the important person are coming. And out of these 20 projects, they are selecting 5 designers for interior and 5 designers for exterior. They are going to develop their concept further. All the other will go back to different other tasks. Okay. After that, these 5 designers for interior will showcase again the continuity of the work, the refinement of the work, and only 2 projects for exterior and 2 projects for interior will be selected. These projects will be made in 3D and in clay, 1:1 scale. Okay, they will make a clay model of this in order to select what kind of cars there are. And out of these 2 at the end, they will select one direction that will be continue as a project for the car. Okay, so this is the internal funnel of the competition in order to decide which kind of design is going to be continued for a car. So in a company like let's say Renault, for example, they've got nearly 200 designers. There are some designers that are never having their cars built because they are always, not one of the selected ones. And you've got very good ones that are always, winning every competition that they do and that are building cars after cars after cars after cars. Okay. And the ones that are not winning, after that, they join the team that is led by the guy that won the competition and work under him to finish on work on his concept to make it real at the end. Okay. So how does a designer work during this design challenge? So first, they've got some ideas. So they put some ideas on paper. They do some basic thumbnail sketches to start with, in order to get some ideas, some icons of what they want to do. After, they make some more detailed drawings. Generally, what happens is that the exterior design first, and after that, we do the interior. Okay, but it's changing now. The trend is changing with the automotive, with the autonomous cars. After that, we go for mood boards. A mood board is very important when you're a designer, because you go, when you give you a brief, when somebody gives you a brief, you need to understand the brief. And in order to understand the brief, you need to refer to what kind of shape is going to look like, what kind of colors, what kind of type of material is going to, if it's glass, is it going to be shiny glass, frosty glass, what kind of frost, deep frost, not frost, is it going to shine from inside? All these kind of details are in your brain, but it's difficult to communicate. So making a mood board is the first thing that designers do in order to sharpen their understanding of the brief and to be only, limiting the possibilities for them, because it's when you're starting a project from scratch, it's very easy to get lost in the millions of possibilities. By narrowing down, by putting a mood board, that this is what I need to do and I should not do something else. Okay. So then after that, when you've got your mood board set, that this is what I should need to do and not something else. You start the ideation sketch. So this is the kind of drawings that you will find in order to get some ideas to make your car working. Okay. After that, when you've got some clear idea, you go with refined sketches where you start to put, lights and shadows to show how the shape of your bodywork is going to be refined. Here, in these details here, it's more about the proportion of the cars and the stance of the car. Here, when you go to this level of details, it's more about refining the surfaces of the car. Is it going to be flat? Is it going to be a little bit rounded? Where are they going to flow and things like that? And after, when you are good with a team with markers, you go to refining this on digital markers, and you come with very detailed surface where you can, when you look at them, really understand how the surface is. here, when if you follow my mouth, you can understand the surface going up. There is an edge round here, then flat. Here there is a small edge going inward, then it's bumping a little bit outwards and going inside. You understand with the reflection, here the colors are not just there to be looking good. They are here, and the drawing is here to make you understand the surfaces of the car, to make you understand what's happening on the body and how the tools are going to be having to work to stamp this body. Okay, what is the shape? After that, you have to do a technical rendering. It means showing the car. So of course, you can see that it's not the same car that I used, but showing the car in different views for everybody to understand, okay, what is really the car about and how are the lines, because you can make a very nice rear view of a car and very nice front view of the car, but actually they don't match, okay? You can't make the front view with the rear view sometime on some drawings. So making these views, different views like that here, is helping you to make a car that is not just a front and a rear, but a real complete car where the lines of the front that are super good are matching with the lines of the rear that are super good as well, making a car looking good as a complete entity and not just part of it, okay? So then, when you've got this done, you can go for the clay modeling. You use your sketch, like you can see on this here. This is what we do on the school. So you can use your sketches to shape to start to sculpt your car in clay. It's called industrial clay, and you shape it with blades. You can see the blade here, slicks. This is a spring metal that you use you pass them on the clay, and you scrap the clay to shape it there. And when you've got your clay done, okay, we 3D scan it. Okay, we 3D scan it, and then we with all the data that we get from the 3D scanning, we build the car in Alias. Okay, so this is what we do in the school, but in the real companies, you are not doing this as a designer. There will be a clay modeler that is going to do that. So he might be the clay modeler, okay? And you will be this guy telling, no, please, this is too round, this should be more tense, this edge is too narrow, it should be there. So it will be a collaborative work between the clay modeler and you as a designer. And same thing with the digital. In the school, you will learn to do it by yourself. But in the real world, you will be working with a digital designer and he will be doing the digital work. When you are going to come to check with him, this is too flat, this is too round, this is too edgy, this should be going there, this line should be refined, all this kind of stuff. And we'll be managing this team I will be managing the project with him, okay? After that, when everything is done, and we are still at the end of the competition is won, you are the winner. We are going to select your teams. Okay, we are going to select, with all this work at the back, you are going to select your cars, you are going to look at your cars, we are going to, all the big guys of the industry are going to come to select them, they are going to discuss, and then we are going to ask if it's really matching the briefs. You will have guys from marketing coming. Is it the car that they were expecting to sell? And is it matching with your target people? And things like that. And after that, you've got a very detailed design that is going to go to production. You are the winner. It's going to go to production. And then we are going to make a really defined 3D model of the car that is going to be pushed to the engineers as well. Okay, because now that you've got this design of the car that is called frozen, the engineer are going to start to work on it. Okay, so the engineer are going to say, okay, you've done this, you've done that, you've done that. And they would maybe say, it's okay, we can do it. But they might also say, okay, we can't do it. Your door is too big. We will never be able to have an hinge able to support this weight. So you need to reduce it. So they will be starting to have a discussion with engineer and designer together in order to change, to evolve the design of the car, to make it real and to make it happening, to make it, engineerable, to make it feasible. Okay, so you will have this work that need to be happening. Okay. So there is a lot of software that you will have to know as designers, like Balias, Blender, Gravity Sketch, Katia, Keyshot, V-Ray, XT, and all this kind of stuff that you will have to know maybe as a student, you will use them to do your own project, but when you will be in the industry, you will just have to know them to be able to know what to ask to the people that are going to use them for you, okay? After, when the 3D is really, really accurate, we are going to use a milling machine, which, you know, what is a milling machine? It's a, you know, a machine that is going to sculpt the clay for you. You can see this here, okay? Actually, this is not a, this is a 3D scanner, but whatever. It's a machine that's going to sculpt the clay according to your 3D, okay? So you will have a prototype that is going to be machined out of clay. They use like 300 or 400, so 3,000 or 4,000 kilos of clay to make a 1:1 scale of a car, like you can see here. It's a BMW. It's a Series 6 project. And when the machine will have finished, there will be clay modelers that are going to come and work on refining the surfaces. And you, as a designer, you are here going to go again, checking if what you have done before, everything that you have done before and refined on the 3D model is going to be looking good in the real life on the real clay. And then you are going to refine a little bit some surface, refine some edge, and things like that. And then the processes will start again. You will scan the 3D, it will go back to the computers, you will modify the 3D model, then you will mill again the clay in order to be sure that the 3D model is going to match exactly what you are sculpting with your hands, okay? And then all this is going to be evaluated with client, customers, panel of customers. It's going to be showcased to everyone. It's going to showcase to the engineers, and then there will be review. Oh, look, if we do that, here there will be a hole of this much millimeters. Can we make it better? Oh, the door hinge here, you know, it's an edge. The engineers say that there will be a radius of this much. How can we do it better? And there will be a full review of evaluation of your design and according to the constraint of the car, okay? Ergonomics is validated. The new vehicles compared to the other cars and the potential customer are tested for reaction. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like the front. It's looking like a frog. There is a lot of reaction that can come, good and bad. And it's, if there are too much bad reaction at this point of the time, you go back to the beginning, okay? After that, the design is completely frozen. This is what the car is going to look like. And everything here now, in terms of deadline, when you reach these points, you've got 2 years of work. Okay, this to come to this point, this is what the car is going to look like. It is 2 years. After that, what's going to happen? We have here validated what kind of engine we're going to put in, what kind of suspension, how we are going to open the doors, and all those dimensions and everything. The financial viability of the project for the company has been validated. All the changes that we are going to make in this car now are going to increase the delay and are going to increase the cost. If I decide to change the way the door is going to open now, we need to go back and to change everything. So it's going to increase a lot of time. So here is what we call a design freeze. This is what it's going to look like, and there's no change. Of course, there will be micro change because of technology, but it's no change, no big change. And after that, we build the first prototypes of the car. Okay, so it's taken another 4 or 5 months to build the prototype of the car, and we are testing them. We are going to the desert, to have some super big heats. We are going to the cold, to run the car in the cold. We are going to the monsoon place to get the car into the wet environment, super wet environment, to see if there are some defaults, plugs that are not waterproof enough, the engine overheating, if the AC is working, if the heater is working, if the whatever is working. After that, when we reach this point and everything is validated, we make what is called a pre-series. It means we make 10 or 20 vehicles with prototyping tooling. So it's not a more prototyping with your hands. It's prototyping with machines, with tools and molds. So we make some prototype cars that we are going to crash in order to assess the viability and the safety of the car and to get a Euro NCAP level of the car. Okay, the Euro NCAP 5-star is the standard now in order to be able to be sold in Europe as a very safety and safe car. Okay, so by crashing them, so in order to make a car on the market, you need to crash it front like this. You need to roll it over. You need to crash it on the side, you need to crash it on the back. So you need to crash at least 10 vehicles, okay, in order to be sure that everybody works inside, okay? And when I'm saying crashing cars, it means crashing finished cars with everything inside that is going to be made exactly the way the final car is going to do. You can't make some prototype dashboard in the car when you crash it. It needs to be the exact same car as the one that you're going to sell when you crash it. Because if not, of course, the results will be different with the normal cars. So it's a very big cost for the company here. And sometimes when something is not working, it go back to engineering to have some change. So of course, it also impacts the design to get some change. So here you got loops. So the work of a car is made of a lot of loops of testing, successful or not, and then you go back and testing again, okay? So when you crash the car, you've got something that is ready to be showcased to the customers. So during the auto shows, something like that, you show the new car and you get reaction from people. And at this point, it's very critical because it's been already 3.5 years that you're working on the project. You showcase your car, and maybe the customers are going to say, oh, we don't like it. You know, it's too small, too big, too right, too round, too edgy, too what, it's looking like a frog, whatever they will say, okay? And at this point, if the customers are not happy, you will have to go back. And it's costing you a lot of money, and you have to rethink everything, okay? So, yeah. Okay, so here maybe we can, and we'll stop sharing. I've been very fast to show you the full range of how a car is done in the design industry. Maybe you've got some questions. I don't know, Dion, if the questions are now or if they need to come later.
Right, we can take questions whenever the students have any. Yeah, but tell me.
If not, I've got 2 more slides just to see what students need to look at in the future and what they need to be ready for in the car industry.
Sure, you can show your slides, and in the meantime, if anyone has questions, they could ask.
Okay. So what is the future? You know, because now cars, you've noticed cars are the same since a lot of years. Okay, they are evolving. There is more edges. The shapes of the light are different. But mostly a car of today is nearly the same than a car of 40 years ago. Okay. But there are very big technologies that are going to change this, that are going to change the work of design and the possibilities of design. You know, before, if you look at the 80s, the designers were only able to make some very flat cars like the Jetta, the Maruti Suzuki 800 at this time, the first one, you know, because the technology was only allowing them to make flat. And the more we have gone, the more now we are able to stamp in very complex shapes, the sheet metal that are making a car. So we can achieve very, very different designs, okay? And the door are more flush, the frames around the windows are disappearing because we are better to manufacturing them, so whatever. So the technology has always influenced the way design of cars have evolved. Nowadays, we are facing a very huge change. Two very, very important change that are going to really make a difference in the design of vehicles, cars, trucks, yachts, whatever it is. I'm speaking about cars here, but you understand that it's for everything else. On these two, and I'm going to share my screen again, these two are the generative design. So I don't know if you know what is generative design. You must have all heard about AIs, okay, artificial intelligence. And generative design is a technology that is used mostly by engineers right now in order to compute the specification of technical parts. Okay, if you look at this spring arm of a bike here, generally in the bike that you see all over the world, okay, there are a big beam of metal that is strong enough to hold the effort of what is asked to this arm to do. And it's having its own weight, and it's looking, not specific, it's strong in one direction, but not in the other direction, whatever. There are some constraints. Here, generative design, what it's doing is say, okay, you will have something that is going to be long of this much. It will be attached here by this kind of attachment. It will hold a wheel at the back. It will have to resist to this much of strain, this much of vibration, this much of torsion, this much of effort on it. Computer, please give me what is the best shape with the less material as possible to achieve this constraint. And this is what the computer is going to do. He's going to think about, okay, I need to check this, and this is the minimum material that you need to achieve what you ask me to do. And he's going to create this. Okay, so this is very efficient in terms of weight, in terms of structure, in terms of use of resources, and things like that. Okay, but it's also looking different. Okay, it's looking different. It's looking more than a bone, than a big beam that we are used to. So this is impacting specification of engineering, but it's also very much impacting the styling of these vehicles, because there are some parts, like you can see here on this wheel, okay, that are visible. This wheel is more than 45% lighter than the same wheel made out of metal, okay, for the same strength, same everything, but lighter, because it has been engineered through generative design. This body of a car here, okay, is made of plastic. It has been 3D printed. It's as strong as the same thing in metal, but it's cheap to do. It can be 3D printed in plastic, and it's very much lighter. Okay, so there is a lot of engineering benefits, but you can see that it's impacting the way we look at it. So designers will have to know in the future about generative design in order to be able to manipulate the generative design that comes from engineering to make it look good. Okay, so this is a heavy trend in the automotive design, but as well in the product design, as well in the space design for the structure of architecture. You will see a lot of these generative structures in architecture, because this is now, the work that we are going in is going to be more and more looking after the minimal resources used to make anything. And generative design is going to help us for that. So as designers, we will have to get into this. Okay. Before, designers were able to help engineers in this way. This is coming from a mind of a designer. I'm going to make this beam lighter by making some triangles into this. Okay. But this is what, for the same question, a computer will come up with. Okay. So now this is looking very specific. Okay. You like it or not? This is another question. But how can designer influence the computer to make it look a little bit better? Okay. And this is very, very important. The second, so you need to work on that. And in Strat, we are teaching generative design, we are teaching AI, and we are teaching all this by helping the designer to work with computer and create with computer their design. There is also another thing that is called VSCOM. VSCOM is an AI generative sketch software. Everything you see on my screen now, there's no pen involved. There's not even a human being involved. All this has been created by a computer only. A computer is connected to all the sketches that have been put on the internet, and he is understanding them, and he's doing it by itself. Okay, I've got some sketches. Okay, how can I transfer them? You want a SUV? Okay, let me take all the SUVs, mix them, move them, and this is my proposition. Okay, and this is very, very interesting, because the work of designer is going to evolve, and maybe the skill set necessary to design a car is going to evolve from super good sketching to super good in working with a computer to ask the good question to the computer to get the good result at the end. Okay, so the work of a designer is completely changing. And another way of changing also is that you all know the softwares that we are all using, with the mouse, or we are modeling Blender, we are modeling Katia, Alias, Rhino, Keyshot, whatever you name it. Sorry, the image is very bad quality here. But we've got Gravity Sketch that is coming. It's one of them. Of course, there is many of them. Gravity Sketch is building 3D models in AR, augmented reality. And this is something that designers need to know now. And in Strat, we've got Immersive Lab, where we are teaching our designers to build in 3D in order to be able to be sure that when they will reach the industry in 5 years, and the industry will be working with that, our students will be the ones saying, okay, you want to do that? Okay, I can do it for you because I've been trained, when the other schools will not be trained on that. Okay. So we are getting our students ready for all these 3 trends that I gave you, because this is coming. And if the students are not getting ready for it, they are already outdated. Okay, so be careful of that. And be sure that when you choose your school, you choose a school that is going to give you something that is going to be valuable in the future, and not something that was valuable 20 years ago. Okay. That's it for me. I think, Dion, we can go for the questions, if there are any.
Sure. There are quite a few questions that have come in. We can take these questions. Just a second.
They're in the chat, maybe, huh?
Yes. So, starting with Aryamik, what are the chances of clay modeling being replaced by 3D printing in the near future?
So, as I mentioned, this was a risk that happened many years ago, like 10 or 15 years ago, when 3D milling, you know what is the difference between 3D printing and 3D milling? 3D milling is you make a big block of a material and you subtract it with a drill, that you sculpt it. Okay, this is subtractive building, manufacturing, subtractive manufacturing. And 3D printing is additive manufacturing. So there's nothing, and you put some stuff in order to create something. Okay. But basically, it's the same thing. You've got something in the computer and you make it real. Okay. So additive or subtractive manufacturing is another question, but it's about building from the computer. So 10 years ago or 15 years ago, when 3D milling has been very, very common, and we were able to, from the computer, to mill and to sculpt with a robot a real accurate model, everybody was saying, okay, clay modeling is dead. Okay, and everybody started to invest a lot in 3D and 3D modeling and tried to make some cars only on 3D. Okay, and no prototyping, just validating on 3D with projection and things like that. And it was in the late 80s, beginning of the 2000s. And if you look at the car history, this is the period of the history where the most ugly cars have ever been done. Because we always will have, the 3D is a very small window, okay? And you don't see really well through the 3D. And you really need to appreciate the volume, to see how the light is going on the surface. You need to have a model. Okay, you need to have a model. And when you print something that you put in 3D into a model, being milled or being printed, there will be something that you find good on a screen that is big like that, okay, big like that. And when you will look at it in the 1:1 scale, it's not looking so good. You will have messed a little bit the proportions. You will want it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, a little bit rounder, a little bit more sharp. All these details will not be visible on your 3D. Okay, so you will have to modify your modeling, your prototype to make it accurate, and then modify the 3D and things like that. So 3D printing, 3D milling, plus the 3D, plus the AR are always going to be there, okay, together. I think this is adding to the efficiency of a designer, helping things to be, instead of being 2 years of work, being 1 year of work because it's faster, okay? Because milling a clay car is faster than doing it with your hands, okay? But it will be there. It will be there. There will be both. There will be 3D printing of cars, but after that, you will have to modify the 3D printing in order to be sure that it's going to look good at the end. So there will be both. There will be both. And they are now speaking of 3D printing the clay. Instead of milling it, that is costing a lot of clay because you go for 5,000 kilos of clay and you mill half of it and then you throw it. So here they are speaking about now having some technology to print the clay in very accurate manners. Okay, so all this is working together. And I really believe, I'm sure there will be the question also, what is not AI a threat for designers? Because Viscom is there that is generating designs of cars. Is it not a threat for the designer? No, We need to learn how to work with it to make our work more efficient and to see what is bestly done by the machine and what we as designer can improve from our side with our emotions, our feelings, and things like that, and to work with the computer to achieve what we want in a faster time and in a more accurate time.
All right, it's 10:30. We have a few more minutes for this. Right, so maximum we can go on for another 10 to 15 minutes max, so we'll try and finish that off. How many students from Strat India got jobs and in which company? This is a question from Anant Kaushik.
Okay, so for now, no one. Because as I mentioned to you, we are a 4 years old school and our program is a 5-year course for the masters. So we got one batch only that went through the BSc, so the bachelor, and all of them decided to go for the masters. So none of our students, after the bachelor, they decided to go to the masters. So none of our students went out in the industry to look for a job. So for now, I have to say to answer to your question, none. We don't have any students that have gone for work in the industry, but we have students that went for internship. Okay, and they went into Honda, they went into Pravex, they went into Desmania, they went into Ashok Leyland, they went into Ethers, they went a lot of the big companies actually. Okay, it was difficult for us in the pandemic period to send them abroad in BMW and things like that. A lot of them got acceptance for internship in abroad companies, but visas were not possible during the pandemic. So we were able only to keep them here in India and give them an internship in India because of the visa issues. But most of their portfolio were good enough and they were accepted in Kiska, they were accepted one was in Volvo, another one in BMW, another one in Volkswagen. So they were accepted for different internship abroad, but because of all the situation, we couldn't send them.
All right. The next question is from Chaitra R, who's asking, why is a mood board required?
It's because, imagine, Chaitra, I'm asking you to design a car for me, okay? I'm asking you to design a car for me, and I want it to be sporty. I want it to be a little bit classy. I want it to be classy but sporty. I want a little bit of carbon fiber with edge. I want a little bit of aluminum here and there, and I want the glass to be frosted. And okay, I will understand what I want because it's in my head. Okay, and I've got some reference images in my head that are going to tell me this is exactly what I want. You will understand what I'm telling you, maybe in another way, because your story will be different. So maybe you will understand something completely different. When I'm saying you, I want a little bit of carbon, maybe I want just a little bit of carbon. You understand, he wants a little bit of carbon. So all these proportions and edgy, when I say I want edgy, maybe I want edgy and you want edgy, okay? So what is, the speech is very difficult. We make some exercise in the school, to describe shapes. With voice, describing a shape is very difficult. Okay, the best way to describe what you want to do is to use reference image. When I'm speaking about a little bit of carbon, this is what and you put an image of what you want. This is what I'm speaking about. When I'm speaking about frosted glass, this is what I'm speaking about. When I'm speaking about, a little bit of aluminum that is not too shiny, not too brushed, this is what I want. And by putting up, this mood board, you can show to your customer, so me, okay, you'd ask me for edgy and brush aluminum and all this kind of stuff. This is what I understood from it. Is it okay with you? Is it what you want? And then I can say yes or no. We can start to have a discussion because then it's not going to be in our brain only. It's going to be visual, factual. This is the trend. And then from that, if we agree on this is the trend that we want to follow, and this is what we want to do with the car, and we agree on it, at the end, when you show me a drawing, I can still go back to this. Yes, but look, here we agree on a little bit of carbon fiber. And here you put carbon fiber everywhere on the car. It's not matching. So it's a base reference of the project, to be sure that we agree on something. And at the end, we've got something that is matching with what we agreed on. Okay? So this is why the mood board is required.
All right. Thanks for that. Sangram Patel is asking, how will AI software impact the transportation design and designers? How much will its effect be on design jobs?
So AI software are going to impact a lot. Yet I can't really tell you how, because it's I can just make some suppositions. But for sure, a lot of discussion are happening in the design world about designers not being required anymore because AIs are going to design cars for us. For now, there are some companies that try to ask, to have some a competition between AIs doing some projects and designers, good designers making the projects. And even if AIs were doing some good work, it was good. It was tasteless, emotionless. It was, answers that were not like well done. It was well done, but it was not super interesting yet. Okay, so for now, and I think for the next 5 years, there's no risk of AI taking designer jobs. It's going to increase, okay, in the next 5 years. I think the relationship between designers and the use of these tools is going to make my job faster. If I'm making a car right now, if I need to draw a car, I need to draw the car, and then I need to shade it, and then in order to be able to, for others to understand, all the shape. You can see the car that is just here on my side here. Because of the reflection on it, you can understand the shape of his body. Okay, this rendering time is taking, for this rendering, this quality of render is taking me a lot of time. Viscom is a software that is doing it for me. It's able, from a sketch, if I give some good details here and there and some section lines, I give it to Viscom, and in 2 minutes, it's making this kind of render. Okay, not as good yet, but in 5 years, it will. So it means that I can focus on the important task of being a designer, of shaping, of speaking about emotions, about shape, about proportions, about edge, about all this kind of stuff, when I'm not spending the time on the rendering part, because something, the time-taking stuff is going to be taken care by the machine, and all the important thinking and creation part is going to be left to me. So my work might be more interesting because all the tedious task of rendering is going to be gone. Of course, I will be able to do it when I want, if I want to do it. But if I need to go fast, then this machine are going to help me to just focus on spend my full day thinking about the car without having to spend 2 days making the renders for the presentation to my boss. I just have to think about making a super cool car. Then I give it to my computer. It will give me good renders. I will show it to my boss. So it means it will allow me to get more value in my work and to spend more time in what is value, giving value to the project. So for now, I don't see a very big threat. Of course, if IT engineers are starting to work on that and even more, I don't know what's going to happen in 5-10 years. But for the next 5 to 7 years, I don't see any threat here. And whatever, even after that, I don't think that designers are going to die because there are, AIs will be there for sure, and they are going to be collaborating with humans. I don't see them taking over before 20 or 30 years. Not even if they take over, are they going to be or whatever? It's a huge discussion that even the AI guys can't tell. So, but for now, I don't see any big risk because they are not managing to make AIs creative. They can make, okay, this is what has been done. If I mix all of them this way, it's going to do that. If I mix this way, it's going to do that. So they are not understanding what they are doing. They are just proposing to you some things that are mathematically possible, but they don't know which one is going to be the best. So emotions are not going to be there. So whatever. I don't see a big threat for now.
All right. Thank you for that. So Aryamik is asking, would there be a need to model something in Blender as compared to a CAD software, especially when Blender lacks a lot of speed when it comes to Boolean and NURBS-based modeling?
So the software questions also, it depends on everybody. I don't use Blender. I don't use Alias because I've been trained all my careers on Rhino. So I'm using Rhino. because on Rhino, I'm super fast because I've been trained on Rhino. I've got colleagues that are super fast on Alias. I don't know how they can do that because Alias is very complex, but they have been trained on Alias and they are super fast. Some others are using Blender and they are very good in Blender and going super fast. So every process will depend on how you've been trained, on how you are comfortable, on how fluent you are with the software. Okay, I agree that Blender, I've got a lot of lackings. One of them is you can't use the Blender files to make an industry mold with it. Okay, you will have to go, because it's called mesh modeling. Okay, and the mesh modeling can't be used in industry. You need to go to a surfacic model to make cars. Okay, so there will be some guys taking your model from Blender to put it in Katia or to put it in Alias to make the surface model of it. So whatever. Every guy will have a different process to use. Blender is very interesting because it's very easy to use. You know, you pull, you push, you cut, you do, you extrude, you round, it's very easy to use, and it's very easy access for most of the people to do some quick, what we say, 3D sketch modeling. Now, the difference between when you're drawing, there is sketch, rough sketch, and there is illustration, and there is rendering illustration. Okay, there are three different levels of visualization. It's the same for 3D. You've got a very industry 3Ds that are done for making all the engineering and the molding of the cars that are super high-end 3Ds. But you've got all the 3D that most of the students are doing, you know, quick and ugly and not very accurate, just to get a shape of what you want, to make a render. And after that, you use Photoshop to make it looking good, and it's finished. So the interest of using different softwares, they have different purpose. So when you're using Blender, you can make a very quick model of a car with the proportions that are approximately good in order to help you to draw perspective for your project. And make a quick render to get approximately the good reflection and help you in your rendering on digital software like Photoshop or whatever, you know, Procreate or whatever you are using. So this 3D is a bad 3D, but it will help you to do something better. Of course, it's not going to be the one that is going to be used for engineering and for manufacturing the car. But yeah, so Blender is not perfect, but it's got its own advantage of going fast and quick and being easy access for most of the people to get a render quickly, to get some quick validation. You know, when you're building something in the startups, you say, go quick, fail quick, start again, and success on the long term. So here, it's helping you to go quick, to go to something that is good enough to be evaluated on critics, good or positive or negative critics, to go back if necessary, to modify, to go quick again, to propose something else. So it's a very quick process of doing iterations. In design, you know, you do a lot of iterations. So these very easy softwares that are not very perfect are helping you to go quick. And when you find something very, very good, then you go to the more difficult softwares, more complete softwares to do a very good modeling.
All right. And for the last question, Chaitra is asking, can we conceptualize the transportation design using VR without needing any prototype?
So I answered this already a little bit, Chaitra. You know, when you were asking, is the clay modeling going to disappear when we are using the virtual, renders and all this kind of stuff? It has been done, as I was mentioning, in the early 2000s. You know, where companies were trying to make cars without making any clay modeling and prototyping. It has never worked well. The cars were ugly because. Of course, the computers were not as good as they are now, but at this time, you know, it was ugly because they realized that you can't assess a real reflection surface and the quality of a volume on a 3D model as good as when it's a clay modeling, you know, or any kind of modeling in front of you. So for now, this is the aim because, you know, modeling is taking a lot of cost and a lot of time. In the car companies. So the aim is still to reach this level of visualization, 3D visualization, to avoid to get prototyping. But for now, we are not reached this way. For now, we always want, you know, it's such a big investment to make a car. You know, when you're starting a car, you're spending billions of euros. So you can't fail. You need to be sure before you launch a mold. You know, to make a mold for a ale of a car, it's 250,000 euros for the mold. If you make one mistake, you throw this mold away and you spend again 250,000 euros for making the mold again. So you need to be sure. And, you know, sometimes it's better to spend, you know, 1 crore on 1.5 crores to make a model to be sure than redoing all your tooling because you forgot about something that is not cool. Okay. So for now, even if it's still an aim of the industry, for now, it's not possible. Nobody is doing it. But it might be possible with the increase of the technology and the enhancement of technology in the coming years. And you know, there are some companies that are doing, you know, ugly cars already. You know, there are some startups that are doing ugly cars. And I believe that this one might have done this shortcut because whatever, they are not validating their design quickly. So they could, because the design is not the most important thing for them for now. So making a car, prototype, printing them on 3D and running it might be something that you can do there. I think in 5-10 years, the question will be more relevant to ask. Today, no.
Okay, so that's about it, Thomas. Thank you so much. I think all the questions are over. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come here and talk so beautifully about this wonderful career of transportation design, and very eye-opening that it goes beyond the OEMs and there's a lot more opportunities out there than you know we perceive, right? So thank you
Absolutely.
for bringing up this awareness, and it was a brilliant discussion.
Thank you very much. And also, I just want to ask to add, you know, on this, if some students are interested into all this, we've got, you know, if you go to our Instagram, Strat_India, okay, you can find some of our workshops that we are doing. You know, some of our teachers are teaching you how to sketch cars. And we've got this weekly sketch sessions that are live, where you can ask questions and draw together with all our teacher and students together on live. So if you're interested in car transportation, this can be a good opportunity that is there for you to get some glimpse of what students of Strat are doing, what teachers of Strat are doing, and how we are doing it, and to get some free tutorials from the school and to see and evaluate what the school is doing and how we are doing it.
All right, thanks a lot. And if anyone is interested in applying to Strat, I've posted the link in the chat box. Do click on that link and apply, right? Thanks once again to everyone who's attended and to Strat. Take care. Bye.
Ian, for the opportunity. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye. Good afternoon, sorry. Good day. I don't know where I am anymore.
Doesn't matter.